Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Kimberly Cloud Show. I'm your host, Kimberly Cloud. One, I would like to say happy Memorial Day. In between this session, this school session, I will just randomly say happy Memorial Day. That way, when the users that come on, then I will be able to address them so they don't think that I didn't say happy Memorial Day to them. What Memorial Day means to me? Well, it means a lot. A lot of people talk about it. You know, I'm more so, which I'm about to hashtag right now. Sorry, y'all. I knew I messed up something. The Army Review Board. The Army Review Board is my life changer. They believed in me when no one else did. They believed in me when no one else did. They believed everything I said. Even when a Democrat was in office, they gave me an honorable discharge. And I was able to do a lot of stuff with that honorable. And I showed them that I was able to do what they wanted me to do instead, take advantage of the opportunities instead of fail. And this is my last go round with school. That's why I hashtag all you guys. And I hope you guys have a happy Memorial Day. Each and every school that I have hashtagged, I've went to. And from elementary on up. Whether I failed the class, whether I didn't, that's irrelevant. But y'all taught me how to get up and keep trying. The logic class, I have a lot of credits at Hawaii Pacific University. The logic class I took at Hawaii Pacific University is so out of this world. I couldn't do it. It's for lawyers. You know, I probably can do it now, but I wasn't in the right mindset. I would just stay up all night till 3 o'clock reading that book, that thick book, trying to figure out what they were saying and telling me. My son in the other room sleep. I got like what, 25 credits from them. And Millermont was my first official college I went to where I learned how a myocardial infarction works. And I learned verbiage from myocardial infarction, which means heart attack for those who don't know, to SOB, which means shortness of breath, and many more, but I can't think of them. It's been years. Every school taught me something, whether I passed, failed, or owed them. And I appreciate you guys, each and every one. Billingsville, I used to literally fall asleep and my mother have to get me up to write that work. It was so difficult to me. I fell in love with orchestra at the age of 9. And I fell in love with the teacher because the way he played that piano was so grand. It's like it's a connection. It's a huge connection. And the connection that we have, we had, I will never forget it. Now, my mother, I won't say her name again because I said her name once, but I won't say it again. My mother, she was a supporter of me playing the violin and cello. I don't, yeah, the violin and cello. I would play the violin and I graduated to the cello. They would have these white pieces of tape, 3 white pieces or 4 white pieces of tape. There would be a bass personnel behind us. The teacher would play the piano. The violas would be in front, and then the violins would be in the main front, and then the cellos would be in the back. At first I was in the violin section, but then I went back to the cello section because I wanted that control. I seen how they control, they have to hold it, and they have a stopper, how they have to hold it and maneuver it. You have so much control over it. And that's what I liked about it. And it was always second to the third to the violas. It was third to the violas. The violas was second to the violins. And it always corresponded and talked to each other. They talked to each other. So when the teacher is playing with the piano, all symbolisms, and we're adding with our violins and violas and cellos, that is a beautiful sound. My ex-boyfriend, which is in jail for, I don't know if he's out of jail yet, but he's in jail for rape. I can't believe it. I couldn't believe it. But he lives in Charlotte, North Carolina, and he's in jail for like 15 years for raping somebody. He sat up there and he used to be in band. He used to be in band. His name was Randy Ashford. And sat up there and he we used to walk home together. He never did anything that showed that type of person, you know. We stayed together until I moved, till they moved in the 6th grade. I got to meet him again when I got to be 18 years old, but I'm talking about school right now. And the way the orchestra went, it was grand. And that's why I'm gonna buy me a cello, a cheap cello, not cello that's too cheap, but a cheap enough cello, you know, that Goldilocks effect cello to where it is doable and, you know, teachable and not popping a string and all of that. And get a tutor, get a tutor to help me graduate from elementary to advanced cello. You know, I want to learn, you know, I want to learn how to play the cello all over again and just start getting some new music in my head that I can play on my keyboard. That's what I want to do because new music is enlightening. You don't know how new music, a new piece of good, not that bad music, a new piece of music such as the violin orchestra, which a lot of fundamental great artists, such as the artist I remember, he was deaf. I can't remember his name, but he was deaf. He wrote music. I don't understand how this beautiful angel wrote music as deaf. How can you know what music is as being deaf? I forgot his name. Let me look it up real quick. Who wrote music? Wow. Yeah. Beethoven. Beethoven, I should have known that one. He was completely deaf and he made music. I can make a tune with my keyboard, but I hear it. How can you make these beautiful compository pieces? And that's what drove me music, 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 music. Even when I was alone, music. All the teachers at Billingsville, I had my bad days getting in fights, running home because I stayed right behind the school. I stood up for myself, all 99 pounds of myself, you know, young evil women calling my mother names, and I stood up for my mother. My mother told me to march back to that school. School suspend me because I stood up for my mother. You aren't going to call my mother out her name. And it was crazy. It was really crazy. But I stood up for what was right at a young age, even if that means being beat up. Always been like that. And then I talked about Millamont Hopkinsville, taking though I met a friend, Catherine or Katrina. We were in both in the same class, and we were taking remedial algebra or math, basic math, I don't remember. But it was a good experience. We used to bounce off ideas off of each other. And that was a good experience doing that. And I already talked about Hawaii Pacific. Um, you got Baltimore City Community College, which I talked about before, which helped me drastically. Every day I would catch the bus or a train to the school, to the library, and work hard, make these papers, because I had no computer at home. And it paid off. Had I known how to edit and do all those grand things that I know now and how I mastered it, I had A's and B's in the class, but I would have gone really further. Same with copying. Now that I'm in a master's degrees program, thank you, University of Phoenix, too. I can care less about the graduation part because it was done. Y'all tried to make it good and the women ruined it. But some of the women, not all. But I uh I love the curriculum you had. Y'all taught me about leadership skills. Y'all taught me about a lot of things. I had a statistics class with you guys. I am the outlier, as you can see. I learned about outliers. Yeah, I learned a lot. And this will all be applied in my future job when I move. Same with the University of Maryland Global Campus. I'm just starting off. This is my very first class. And I appreciate you guys. And I cannot wait for the adventure y'all have towards me. Some of me don't want to invest in other people groups because some groups you always got two people that are lazy and don't want to do the work. They just want like the three people that are making and digging into the inventory of the classroom curriculum They want them to carry them, because it's always one paper out of the 5 students, and somebody's assigned to do the paper. And that's why I hate working in groups, because you always got that one person, but it's always another person that sees it and end up snitching. I mean, that's all I could say about that, right? That's why you handpick people in high-end corporate jobs, because it's like you don't want somebody to be lacking and step back and allow other people to do the work, and then you shine with them and you're not even doing any work. That is, to me, illegal, because people work hard to get their curriculum done. I had that happen in my psychology class at the University of Phoenix, and we were on the phone talking about it. It never happened in my doctorate class when I took that class. We never had a group yet, and I knew a group was coming. They actually advanced me to the second course of the doctorate program. They waived the first course. They always waive the first course for me, and I love that. So I know as the curriculum go on, it's going to get more intensified, and I'm ready for it. I just hope we don't have statistics again and make me have to get a tutor. I knew what I was doing practically, but please don't make me have to get a tutor again. Because I got a tutor, and when he clarified things, I was like, I know this already. I know this. And then things were running smoothly during the end. Once I figure out what an outlier is and all the linear things that he was doing, I was like, this is going to be easy. He even said, the teacher even said, I would not need a tutor. I mean, yeah, he said I would not need a tutor. And I was just like, no, just in case, tutors are great. He was a great tutor. And the next time I need a tutor, I will get a tutor. If a course gets too difficult, I will hire a tutor in a heartbeat. And that's how you get out there and you get to talk to people. And that's what I enjoy doing, talking to people. I know that when I move, I'm going to be able to do a lot of stuff that I haven't before. And that, I'll leave it at that. Nothing else follows, because when I start with my brain saying, I want to do that and I want to do that, people write it down, and then they go to that place of where I'm at in that state, and then they stake it out until I go to it. So I'm not going to talk about it. So nothing else follows. And the reason why I said that to all the schools is I'm going through a lot, and I don't want to bring it up and bring negativity into this special edition show. So let's get started with the work, and we'll make this a beautiful show. Okay. I know I'm gonna need my glasses. I gotta register for classes. I probably won't register for the second class until the middle of June. That's what I want to do. Register for another class in the middle, because the end of this month is when I finish the course. Okay. Let me put on my glasses, y'all. It be glaring, but I don't caring. What is a mock interview? Hold up. Let me go back to the beginning. Hold on. Let me read what he said in full. Sorry about that, you guys. I hope you are having a great week. Things to think about through the week. Think about 2 or 3 things you wish you had known or prepared for better on your first interview. Also, think about 2 or 3 things that work for you. Do this week. Mock interview questions and mock interview recordings. Due as a milestone found in step 3 and 5, due 27th of May. I have all assignments graded until week 6. I'll try to knock out week 6 by the weekend. If you are behind assignments, please get caught up ASAP. Let me know if you have any questions. Courage is resistance to fear, mastery of fear, not absence of fear. Mark Twain, Dr. Perry. Okay. Lots and lots of reading to do. Woohoo! Hold on. Start here. Let's see what they have to say. Okay, I'll read that later. I just wanted to see how far it goes. Let's start from the beginning. Nice fit. Your military experience has provided you with a wealth of leadership knowledge and experience. And in projects 1 and 2, respectively, you explored leadership across various organizations and assessed your own leadership qualities. Consider these things, then ask yourself, where do I best fit in the civilian workforce? As you navigate your post-military career, it will be important for you to market yourself as someone with transformational leadership skills, which is motivational leadership skills, and experience that are transferable to a variety of workplace situations. Be prepared to communicate the value you bring to the organization. You will need to make sure that your leadership style aligns with the organization's culture, mission, values, and goals. In this project, you will see which sector, for profit, nonprofit, or government might be a right fit for you. Then you'll identify the most effective leadership style for directing individuals, projects, and groups to success within that organization. You will demonstrate the differences between managing and leading. Oh, I can't wait to get into this. With the focus on motivating, which is transformational, and inspire, all transformational, individuals and preparation for future challenges and opportunities. Through preparation for a mock interview, you will demonstrate your ability to identify strategic relationships and address problems through sound decision making. By developing a short-term action plan for your first 90 days on the job, you will demonstrate your ability to foster team building and dynamics. At the end of this process, hold on, let me read that again. Through preparation for a mock interview, because I want to make sure I got it, you will demonstrate your ability to identify strategic relationships and address problems through sound decision making. So you will identify strategic relation like he did just now, strategic with business relationships, and address problems, which you will adjust the problems through decision making. By developing short-term action plan, another plan for your first 90 days on the job will demonstrate. Damn it. Sorry, y'all. Sorry for cussing. Because my computer go dark. Let me turn it up. Demonstrate your ability to foster team building and dynamics. At the end of this project, you will submit your career portfolio consisting of the following: written answers to set mock interview questions. Let me look something up real quick, you guys. I don't like being in the dark. Yahoo sucks, man. There we go. Mock interviews involve practicing interview questions and receiving feedback to improve your skills. And so the teacher will give us feedback to improve our skills and confidence. So strength, weaknesses, sort of like SWOT, experiences, career goals, as well as situational questions, exploring your problem solving, teamwork abilities. Okay. 90-day action plan. Completing this project will demonstrate your ability to communicate clearly in writing, meeting expectations for content, purpose, organization, audience, and format, to critically and apply logical processes, to formulate clear, defensible ideas, to think strategically as a leader, and to make decisions that are guided by ethical, I haven't seen that word in a while, considerations in a timely manner. This project is designed to be completed in 4 weeks. You may need to refer to Organizational Scan Project 1, as well as the MLQ and the Individual Development Plan from Project 2. I have all of those, but it's going to be very hard to find. Let me write that down, what I have to refer back to. Read the following scenario, then begin step 1. Identify your best organizational sector match scenario. As a member of the M2M program, you completed an organizational scan project 1, yes, and an individual development plan project 2. As you navigate your post-military career, it will be important for you to market yourself as someone with transformational leadership skills and experience that is transferable. Your transition coach, Pella, believes that you are ready to take the experience and knowledge you've acquired thus far and package it for your prospective future leaders. I don't have to read that part. Hello there. You are now one step closer to completing the M2M program. So far, you learned a lot about different sectors and sector organizations, about the different sector organizations are. Am I reading that right? So far, you've learned a lot about the different sector organizations. Oh, they didn't put that. It's supposed to have been that are classified into and about the leaders within them. Hold on, I have to read this hard because I want to get what it means. No, they're right. It's the way they said it. I guess. Could be wrong. You know how that McGraw-Hill book always have like one missing letter, or let me not say that, not letter, but word. Let me read it again. Maybe I get it right. So far, you've learned a lot about the different sectors organizations are classified into. See how that flow? I would have put that are classified into and about the leaders within them. Additionally, you've assessed your own strengths and identify areas for leadership development. Now it's time to think about your future. I want to encourage you to be thoughtful and intentional as you think through navigating your career. You should ask yourself, in what type of organization do I see myself? And what sector best aligns with my leadership style, interests, and goals? Finding answers to these questions is critical to your future direction and success. To parallel these considerations, I wanted to let you know about the M2M's job announcement board. Some interesting new jobs have recently been posted there. Please read through these postings to see what qualifications and skills potential employers are looking for and what skills you could bring to the table. In order to begin your pursuit of these opportunities, you should begin building your career portfolio, aligning your skills and experience to the set of skills and qualifications you may come across in job postings. A career portfolio lets you communicate your value and skill set to potential employers. Your portfolio will consist of a set of written response to mock interview questions, oral responses, and a second set of mock interview questions provided as an audio file and a short-term action plan. I don't know how to do that. How can I do that? I can record a MP3 on StreamYard live and then save it in a short-term action plan, but I'm not going to be able to do all this today. If any of these concepts are new to you, don't worry, you will learn how to create them as you work through the steps of this last project. This might be a tedious process, but portfolio-ready materials aligned to career objectives will greatly assist in successful interviewing and job placement. Consider this the beginning of an ongoing process of building a portfolio with artifacts that illustrate your work. Now what? Go back up. M2M member. As a part of your short-term action plan, you will need to identify which sector, for-profit, nonprofit, government, which I have that form, I see where you're going with it, you are best suited to. Government. Consider what kind of leader you would like to be in front of. Sorry, I messed that up. Consider what kind of leader you would like to be from the work you have done in Project 2. Then review your final organizational scan from Project 1. Which sector would you most likely allow yourself to excel in your leadership? What sector would mostly likely allow you to excel in your leadership goals? The MLQ is in Project 2. I am a leader who has the only flaw I have as a leader, I remember it, is I used to step back as a leader when I wasn't a leader and didn't know how to be a leader. I would step back and let stuff pile up until it overflowed. You know, they I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to butt in or try to control the situation, which I had the authority to because of peer pressure. Case in point, the jailbreak, the inmates who broke out, of the 10 or 12 inmates who broke out, and the one guy who was in jail. This is a lousy example, but I'm telling you the example, how it relates to somewhat my example. So this guy possibly wanted to let them out at first as thinking that they weren't going to go that far into getting prepared to be out, which is overflowing in the cup. And then once they did everything, he probably said, you are going to get in trouble again. Don't do it. And then they said that they're going to shank him. I believe every story he said, everything he says. And then it was too late. He was looking out for his brothers, and his brothers went against him because he wanted to try to give them good advice. And the peer pressure was so bad that he was like, yeah. And they knew people from inside the jail. So he was so, you know, scared, should I say, scared. And or it could, that's the example I'm giving that I think happened. Or he could have just went on with it and said to them, I'm gonna say y'all tried to shank me if I get caught. But I don't think that that defeats the purpose. You know, that defeats the purpose because they knew it would be an investigation. He knew it would be, they're not just going to get out and he walked free. So that is my MLQ. I let stuff flow over and not take advantage of the situation as a leader to control the situation. That's where I lack. That's where I'm practicing. Part one, project one that I have is I forgot about the organizational scan form. But I know what profit, nonprofit, and government. I want to stick with government because profit is making money for, it's like what is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? Girl Scouts is for profit. And is it for profit? Yeah, it's for profit. And like um the gasoline is like nonprofit, I believe. Or I think I got it backwards. Let me see. Hold on. Is Girl Scouts for profit? I hope they are. Oh, okay, yeah, I got it backwards. So, so glad I looked stuff up to verify it. When I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I verify, except what happened in my world. So, Girl Scouts is nonprofit. And the gasoline, I should have known this. What is that gasoline stuff? Let me, no, I'm not going to pull it up yet. It goes all the way from California to Canada. And then they got one that go all the way from Mexico to Canada. A gasoline, petrol. I think it's called petrol or something. And the gasoline is for profit, which means that they get gasoline, they get all the profits that they can get, all the funding that they can get. So people pay into that. And nonprofit, they don't accept donations, I believe. It's a way they accept donations. Because I was at a nonprofit and people were writing big fat checks to McVet. So I don't know, man. Everything has this way of getting money. Okay. Consider what leader you would like to be from the work you have done in Project 2. which is the MLQ. I would like to be a leader who steps up to the plate and not allow things to boil over, because I think that two adults can handle it and they both acting like broke down managers, and then it escalates to a situation where I am needed, and then they ask me, well, why didn't you do anything about it? And I'm stuck figuring out why, and I'm like, well, I don't want to get into it. For instance, another example, this is a great example. I was at FedEx, and this lady, I don't know her name, and I'm glad. She was, or I don't even know if she's Hispanic or not, but she's mixed with something. She opened the door for everybody and seen me coming, and she slammed the door right in my face. So I'm like, okay, I stood in line waiting for the manager, and I didn't see that she was the manager, but it was a lot of people in front of me. So I cooled down, got what I needed from FedEx, and then I walked up to her. I didn't want to speak to her, but I had to, because the other person went to the bathroom. And I was like, can I speak to your manager? She was like, the manager isn't here right now. And I was like, can you make a note for me that you were very disrespectful? She's like, I didn't, she cut me off before I can say anything, and said, I did not slam, I did not slam the door in your face. And that's how I know she did. And I'm like, whoa. I said, I didn't say anything about slamming the door in your face. And so that's how I confirmed, why isn't this thing working sometimes? And that's how I confirmed that she slammed the door. She slammed the door in my face. And I said, can I speak with your manager? She said the manager isn't here. So I said, I'll be back then. So as I started to walk out, the lady coming, that was the manager, not the big manager, because I know the manager is male, but the other manager. And so I said, ma'am, she just said the manager wasn't here. And I didn't get into it with her. She was yelling at me. And I'm like, I don't have time for this. I said, I'm not going to argue with you. So that's why I walked away. And then I just stood there because I wanted to talk to the other lady. And when the other lady came, I walked up to her and I said, she said that the manager wasn't here. She wrote down my number and I told her what happened. And I said that every time I come to this FedEx, she's rude. She purposefully ignore me when I'm in line and I have to get somebody else for the line. I said that this is really unethical what she's doing as an employee there. And I said, can you please make a note to tell the manager about that? One day I will see the manager. I know exactly who the manager is. And I will re-explain what happened. I don't remember the date that it happened, but I will re-explain to the manager what happened. But had I stood there and just not said nothing, there's a way to say something. And she was looking for an argument because she knew she was in the wrong. And I'm looking for a discussion. That's why I didn't want to talk to her, because she just seemed like she had animosity towards me for no reason. And so I'm like, I don't want to argue. I don't want to argue. Why are you arguing with me? So, I was just like, ugh, and just walked away. Like, even if I wasn't on probation, I would still not argue with her, because it's just not right why do I have to go back and forth with an employee when she shouldn't even be arguing with me in the first place? So I didn't let it boil over. I did right. I didn't let it boil over. I stood there and waited for the proper communication outlet with someone else that was a real manager. She lied about the manager, and I calmly told the manager about what happened. So, support your decision by noting your reasoning. You will need this as you complete your career portfolio. Also, your transition coach may have mentioned we have some new postings at the M2M job announcement board. When making your selection, consider how well your core values and competencies align with, I'll read that later, with the organizations. Please select a position from the M2M job announcement board below, or provide your own job description that you have identified through your personal searches, and begin to know some defining attributes of the job you might desire. I will look for the jobs from the M2M job announcement board. That way I don't have to go off looking on Indeed. You will use the postings you choose as you work through this project. Give me just a second. They got Girl Scouts there we go, petroleum, like I said. And then NIH, National Institutes of Health. I did that too. Nonprofit, for profit, and government. According to Erdy, Brown, and Yang, core values are reflected by our organization's belief, desires, behaviors, accountability, initiatives, innovation, integrity, and flexibility. And those values influence organizational perceptions and decisions. So that means that, sorry about that, you guys. That means that the VA's organization beliefs and desires, behavior, accountability, initiative, innovation, integrity, and flexibilities. Those values influence the perceptions, the way a person sees, and their decisions. In their article, Values and Organizational Leadership, they explore the role of core values as the foundation and conscience of an organization, with a special attention to impact core values have on leadership practices. This resource will be helpful in explaining the importance of core values in successful organizations. Developing an organization core values requires input and buy-in from all key stakeholders, which is the big people that work together, like the CEOs, the COOs, and beyond that, like the people who run it, like the head of all the VAs. It's important that employees know that the core values are and rely on them when making decisions. I even wrote him. I'm going to call him on Tuesday. I got a lot of work to do on Tuesday. It is important that employees know what the core values are and rely on them when making decisions. Strong, meaningful corporate values, ones that are embedded in and aligned with all system policies and practices, are a critical component of corporate culture. The policies, the systems, the practices are critical of a corporate culture, and it helps create a healthy, positive climate. Where did it go wrong? When presented with difficult decisions and ethical challenges, effectively communicated core values make a significant difference in helping managers and leaders make the right choice. However, many organizations, darn it, I have to have my finger on this. Many organizations publicly list core values that do not actually serve to guide decisions and behaviors. As a classic example, Enron's annual report included a list of all values, included integrity right before the company's downfall. Fortune list of 5 biggest corporate scandals of 2015 gave the top spot to Volkswagen lies about its emission controls. Meanwhile, the company's online value page focused on its commitment to responsibility and sustainability. This disparity between statements and actions had led some to question whether the benefits of creating and communicating shared values outweigh the risk in failing to deliver on implicit promises. Dang, Volkswagen. I never had a Volkswagen. Did I drive a Volkswagen in Nashville? I don't know. When I came back to visit, I don't know. It was smoking. Associated rental car was smoking. Associated with this debate, the perception that all organizations' value statements, as they are present, are largely the same. So the debate is the perception that all organization, it's a debate, that this debate is the perception, what people see is that all organizations value what they value statements as they are presented are largely the same, which is not true. If this is true for most organizations, it is natural to suspect that the listed core values have little meaning as guidelines for decisions and actions. That's true. They can't be used. They have little meaning for guidelines of decisions of other employees and actions. They cannot be used to differentiate the company's priorities from another's. So the VA cannot differentiate what MEPs do, but they can still work together. But their values and what else? Perceptions are two different things, because one is trying to get people into the military with healthy, situations, like such as, they have to squat, they have to listen to sounds. They have to do a lot of stuff in MEPS. And their goal is to wean out the weak while the VA supposedly their values is to take care of the soldiers. It seemed like they have more likableness. I don't even know if that's a word, but likableness in the LGBT than they do the soldiers. While some organizations may respond to this dilemma by not posting corporate, they have to say, what is your mission statement? A value statement is like a mission statement. A corporate value statement: remaining silent costs the company the benefits of rallying around shared values and presenting them to the public. When core values are properly aligned with the company's policies and behaviors, they can shape its organization core culture and help to attract and retain like-minded employees. When core values are properly aligned with the company's policy and behaviors, they can shape organizational culture to help attract and retain like-minded employees. That is true. That is very true. They can sit up there and organizational corporate culture at the VA, they have like-minded people who think alike. But what if, by say, you get like-minded people that are bullies, and that all they do all day is go to each and every one of their friends' rooms talking about different patients of theirs, like, is that ethical or non-ethical? Is there a time to flush out the employees and gather some new ones for a time? A statement of core values is an opportunity for an organization to communicate its beliefs and priorities to stakeholders and to the public. However, it is up to the leaders within the organization to use this opportunity, responsibility, and service of the organization. So a leader puts out the core values. As always, the employees sit up there and say that they abide by those core values. You got some that do, depending on the rank of their degree, and you got some that do for a time. And then when emotions start to get the best of people, where the core values and ethical decision making goes unethical, then there's a problem. Competency is a skill or ability that can be demonstrated. It differs from knowledge in that knowledge is abstract, such as awareness, understanding of a concept, while competencies are concrete and measurable. I don't know everything. I can read a book. I read the JFK book, 500 pages, but I get off track sometimes. So my competency sometimes derails. And I'm working on that to work harder at staying focused on different things by comparing different things. Unlike knowledge, competency are typically complex, which they are, and require critical thinking. I got a lot of that. Competencies, knowledge, and understanding are interdependent, which is intertwined. So they're dependent. They're inside, they're inter. They're, let me look up that different definition. But when I look up that definition, I'm going to make sure I guess it. It's like interdependent is like both, it's like a both sector. But I want to know more. I knew it was two or more. Got it. Of two or more people or things depending on each other. Two or more changeable things. So if it's interchangeable, it's two or more changeable things. Acquiring knowledge is a fundamental step towards developing a competency, but by itself, that knowledge is not competency. So, acquiring knowledge is a fundamental step towards developing competency. So, me reading is a step towards developing more competency, but by itself, which is knowledge, that knowledge is not a competency. Understanding, developing competency. Let's take a look at a couple examples clarifying nuances. Identifying a sales trend within a particular industry sector. Understanding the factors that influence those trends. And being able to extrapolate a prediction from the existing year-over-year data that will contribute to a competency of develop realistic monthly goals for a team of sales professionals. And let me read that again. Let me go up. So it has to be a sales trend with a particular industry sector. So you're in a different industry lane, sector meaning lane, and a trend meaning thing, a different type, a type of sell thing, understanding the factors that influence those things, and being able to extrapolate make a prediction. I love that word. I may steal that word. A prediction from existing year-over-year data would contribute to a competency of develop realistic monthly goals for team sales profession. Notes. I have to read it again because I want to make sure I got that right. So the things sector, I got those two. Understanding the factors that influence those trends, which is the different sales trends. So I look at sales trends as being like Nike shoes versus Adidas shoes, and being able to make a prediction of the existing year-over-year data would contribute to a competency of develop realistic monthly goals for a team of sales professionals. Okay. The background knowledge and conceptual understanding are just some of the building blocks. Stop. that lead to your attainment of competency, because overall sale figures are affected by more than just performance of the team. You will need a great deal of other knowledge and understanding to meet stated competency. I remember I was at the University of Phoenix, and they always tell the truth. They never lie unless you can tell when they're lying. It's like fictional stuff, like Bella or Pella, the person I read, is fictional, but she's telling the truth about stuff. But this stuff really blew my mind. So somehow they were talking about hotel rooms. And they actually, even before artificial intelligence, they actually have a logic system to be able to tell how many hotel rooms, like they lower their prices based on how many hotel rooms of their rooms are open. And then they do something else, I forgot, but they scramble something. It is so amazing to get the customers to keep coming. They have a computerized system for that. It's the hotel chain, it's the Amazon chain. Let me not even talk about it before I get screwed. Competencies are generally present as complex processes, not simple tasks. To meet competency of create a plan for transitioning a new operating system, you will have to be able to assess the impact on existing hardware and software. I really want them to show me inside a regular computer, not an Apple, but a regular older 1999 computer. Where's the motherboard system? I mean, think about what's in a computer, y'all. When you take off you have that big old thing and then a monitor. When you take that off, you got a navigation of a city of technology. It's so crazy. Where am I at? Existing hardware and software, determining staff training needs, write a comprehensive plan for installing the software and delineate, yeah, that control, that's another good word. I will forget these words. Extrapolate, make a prediction, delineate, control what resources, monetary or otherwise, will be required for the initiative to succeed. Those interim tasks would not typically be deemed competencies, even though they are concrete and measurable. Because those tasks lead to some other more sophisticated in development of transitional plan. I was just talking a little bit about that. A little bit, not the whole thing. Okay. Okay, doke. I want to know what I have to do for. Okay, great, great. Now I want to know what I have to do for the homework. You are now ready to think about your best approach. Interview questions for further secure your career trajectory. M2M assists you with this challenge. You take note of critical questions to consider as you prepare for your mock interview. Okay. As you, as a prospective employee, a mock interview will allow you to gain realistic insight on how well you are able to articulate yourself and your experience. Oh, man. Hold on, y'all. I got a bunch of cold water on my hand. Here we go. Most importantly, it is an opportunity to enhance and refine your interview skills. Complete your mock interview by responding to all 6 questions below. These responses should be answered from the perspective of one job posting. In step 1, or one job posting that you've located, I am going to do for-profit petroleum. I'm going to do for-profit because I want to learn more about them. It just, you got more information. Girl Scouts, I couldn't gather up enough information. I had to fish around and go here, go there. I mean, there was information out there. And then it was Girl Scouts, it was petroleum, and it was NIH, National Institute of Health. All they did was talk about Biden regime and what Biden was doing. They really didn't give out much information either. Of current information, that is. Complete your mock interview by responding to all 6 questions below. These responses should be answered from the perspective of one of the job postings, which is the petroleum buddy, or a job posting that you located. I don't want to locate it. Not because I'm lazy, but because I don't want to have to research something that I could research X. I've done something on X before and Facebook at the University of Phoenix. So, I mean, I can find lots of stuff on them. They are an open book. Your answers to never mind. Your answers to these questions will be included in your career portfolio. If you choose your own posting, you will include that another appendix. If you choose your own posting, what do you mean by that? Another appendix. I swear I'm getting better and better at putting stuff on other Word documents, but it is hard. It is very hard. Sorry, y'all. 6 questions. Let me make sure these are the 6 questions listed below. So I have to answer from petroleum these 6 questions. I can try to do it today. Let's skip these 6 questions for a second and read the bottom. These questions require you to think about the value of strategic partnership and imagine an expansion of your career network. Genuine partnerships strengthen success for organization. Transformational leaders will develop these relationships with accountability and willingness to take responsibility when appropriate. They will also be clear and transparent. That's weird. The same thing is like transparent means clear. I guess it's another word for transparent. I'm about to find out. Transparent means clear. So why would they say clear and transparent? Transparent is another word for clear. So why would you say clear and transparent, which is another word for clear? Oh my God, Yahoo. Something clear, able to see through like glass of water. Oh, in the business world, it's a person who's frank and straightforward. Let me make sure I read that again. Straightforward. So clear and straightforward in the communications with their partners. Think about the result of the multi-factor leadership questionnaire from Project 2 and how you can accentuate your strengths to reinforce your answers. As a general rule, a thorough response to interview question should be 1, relevant, 2, clear and logical, 3, complete, and 4, original. When you are finished, submit the typed response with a copy of your chosen job posting for feedback. In the next step, you will prepare your oral responses for the second set of the interview questions. So this is where you do the homework. Okay. Hold on, y'all. I hope it didn't bounce back. Okay. Let me kind of take y'all off for a second. Okay. What am I looking up? Word. Did I save that? Oh my God, I spelled it wrong. Did I send that to him? It better be saved. Okay, it's saved. I sent it to him. Just in case I didn't, let's go here to assignments. It should say 2. I know I did not. Individual development plan. Where is it at? I did not send it to him after I read the feedback. It does not say that I sent it to him. It's crazy. I did the work and did not send it to him. Complete it. I don't care if I don't get a grade. Oh man. Add a file. my computer. Upload individual. Oh man. Okay. Grandstanding like I'm doing it big and didn't even send it to him. Now I have to say I'm sorry I'm late. I did it online. So that's 2. Written response to question set 1. Okay. Go back, go here, open up Word. And where do I go now? Copy and paste. Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna put y'all back on in just a second. I just gotta copy and paste this. Oh, shoot. I did it the wrong way. Let me put a file. Where is it at? Shoot. File. Open file. Where is my other file? Where is it at? No, I didn't delete it. Yes. I don't know what I put it under. I must have bypassed it. Let me see. I put paper and see what pops up. Self-reflection. APA template. Okay, there we go. Now I know what it's under. Okay, let me connect you guys. Why aren't you going? Let me put you up. Okay. Did I copy? Yeah, I copied and pasted. He didn't say anything about references. Damn it. Now I put the 6 questions. Now here comes the hard part. Digging up everything that they said to dig up. It's going to look like the old school 95 computers where everything pops up when it gets slow in the telephone. Doo-doo, doo-doo. Open. First, we're going to look up the organizational scan project. I am so darn happy that I didn't delete these after. Let me write the whole organizational. Is this the organizational scan project? Yep. Okay, that's one. Let's check that. And open. MLQ. No. It should come right up. It's in my freaking emails. I don't think I downloaded. Hold on. Hold on. Kimberly to the rescue. Let me take y'all back off. MLQ. Let's see if I still got it. It gotta be more. Don't tell me that. Oh my God. They should have downloaded. It should have been a copy downloaded. I believe I downloaded it. Let me see. Oh, here it is. To view your report. Okay. I shouldn't have to. I'm gonna see if I can download it. I gotta get more space on my computer. Here we go, May 26th it happened. Hold on, y'all. Let me include y'all now. Avoids involvement. I did this in a very honest way. Fights fires is low, but monitors deviations, rewards achievement, transformational leadership is high. I gotta figure out more about fights fires. I don't know what that means, but they have the definition. So I got that one. Now, individual development plan is another one. Soon, they better not make me keep this for next class because I have to delete this stuff. I have a lot of stuff on my page. I have to delete it individually in order to edit my shows. And I have a lady that reached out to me and I want to interview her. It's just that I've been so busy. So, I'm gonna see what I can do about this, and then I'm gonna try to reach out to her. I haven't checked my emails, really. Oh, hell no. I don't want my emails up. Okay. Okie doke. And we don't need that no more. Mm, Now it's about to look weird. Let's see. What is this? Let's go back here. This is mock interview questions, but first let me title it how he wants me to title it. Written response to question set 1. That's how you want me to title it? Okay, whatever you want. TLP 610. I really hope this don't transfer. I'm gonna ask him. When I'm finished with this, if I finish with this, I am gonna ask, does these papers transfer over? I mean, it would be, a heartful thing to keep these papers to reread later, for your own, benefit. But once I'm done with them, just like high school, I trash them. They no longer, only thing I will keep is the MLQ. These are all, important to me. Now that I'm, here, not to say University of Maryland, I mean, the University of Phoenix wasn't important. I'm gonna have to find a way to put them on a thumb drive or something. A small thumb drive to keep them away from my other thumb drive, which I'm probably going to second guess that since I have reason to believe people been being nosy. Let me not talk like that while I'm on here. Just smile and look livid. Written response to questions. Set one. Okay. Here we go. I got all the goodies out. I see if I need them. Or I think off top of my head. Two. And go here. Here. Let's see what that fights fires mean. I should say it somewhere. Where is it at? Here we go. Fail to interfere until problems become serious. Wait for things to go wrong before taking action. Show a firm belief if it ain't broken, don't fix it. Demonstrate that problems must become chronic before taking action. That is, I hate that. I have changed. This is my ultimatum that I will never wait for a problem to take control. Like, if I have reason to believe that a problem is taking action, I will make sure I double check that problem and continue to check that problem and continue to advocate for myself and others. I'm passive. Daggone it. Back up. And put all of this on here. No pillow today. Yippee. As a basis of decision making, problem solving, and organizational action, a transformational leader must, oh, duh, I must choose the job that I'm going to do first. Let me write it down so I have something to go off of. No job. Never mind. This is a easy peasy, not easy class, but this is nothing to talk about. I'll talk about it when I'm off of here. I'm not gonna mess up this show. There we go. No, let me push this up. Okay, let's click on it. Marathon Petroleum Corporation. salary to be determined. That's when you know they may pay you like $5 an hour. No, they'll pay good here, but they're very hard. And you don't understand what they saying. I'm skimming through right now. So basically, when you hear the word engineering and operations, you're definitely in the $70,000 range. They just want to know how smart you are and what is your degrees. Just like I said, 10 years of senior leadership experience. I need to get more leadership experience under my belt. I'm gonna make sure the next job I get is leadership under my belt. No more cleaning businesses. I don't care where I work. They're scams. Okay, we're gonna keep that up. Put this right here, make this low. Okay. As the basis of decision making, problem solving, and organizational action, a transformational, motivational leader must think strategically and consider the external, the outside environment, and its varying factors. Describe one or two strategies you might employ in order to identify stakeholder groups and their needs. And that's why they have it highlighted, because I think of stakeholder groups as the head honcho groups. Let me look it up real quick. Hold on. Internal stakeholders include anyone in the organization who influence, engage, or interact an identified goal, program, project, or decision. So, like a program manager or a project director. In a corporation, internal stakeholders include any individual or group who will question, innovate, which is make new ideas, agree or disagree with a goal in hand. For example, information technology, accounting, human resources, operations, purchasing, and marketing may not be where a particular goal, program, project, and decision originates. But, wow. But including representatives from one or more of those departments may enhance the opportunity for success and reduce potential barriers. I get what they're saying. Representatives from internal groups that are identified as adding value to products or processes are known as key stakeholders. So the key stakeholders, they add value, they add products or processes. They know how to add things. Why didn't they just put innovative stuff? Adding value to products or processes. I have to slowly read this. Their role is to advise the project team through a series of conversations, focus groups, or meetings. Advise. So you're really not doing innovative stuff, you're just advising. The purpose of this exchange is to bring a range of perspectives and organizational priorities to the decision-making process. In nonprofit organizations, internal stakeholders, I can't wait till they get to for-profit, may also include board members, consultants, and volunteers. Nonprofits vary in size and complexity, and key stakeholders may vary based on regulatory, geography, financial, or service area needs. In government organization, internal key stakeholders may be identified by position or rank. Their role in this case relates to their expertise, perspective, and consideration of potential obstacles as well as opportunities for success. External stakeholders are equally important outside. This is the inside. So the first one was talking about inside. Anybody who identified goal, problem, project, or decision. Are equally important. In a corporate setting, this group begins with clients, customer, vendors, distributors, and any other related party. Non-profit external stakeholders include partnering organizations, local government representatives, and supply chain parties, and the people whom the nonprofit serves. Government agency external stakeholders include anyone in the agency that serves and all external parties who participate in pursuing the mission and goals of the organization. Key stakeholders tend to represent their experience and opinions as priority variables in the decision-making process. Stakeholder theory does not espouse reaching consensus amongst all stakeholders. Rather, stakeholder opinion informs and streamlines decision making. Bring it on, the words. I love the words. The core group is like new seasoning in my mouth. The core group expands the considered perspectives beyond their own experience and observations. rather stakeholder opinions and forms. And the core of group expands the consider perspective. Identify and consider the priorities and needs of stakeholders, drives improvements, and thwarts potential unseen obstacles. Strategic relationships. The relationships between stakeholders in an organization are key to organizational strategy. Collaboration with internal and external stakeholders, especially with the government. You can, for example, the FBI and internal affairs. Wait, hold on. I said that wrong. Let's take it a little deeper. Special agents and people that work inside the FBI. I don't know. I don't want to know. People that work inside is the internal part of the FBI that gives cordial information and work and give information to the external so that they can know what's going on, such as they sit up there and they find criminals by tracking them with um, computers, whatever kind of computers they use, and they track it with the computers, and then they tell the ones that come in and out the office, that's mostly out of the office, staking out different people, hey, look, I found this and I got a hit on this. So they work together, those kind of stakeholders, or with those who may not yet have a stake in the organization. Can provide a wide array of benefits for an organization and can build lasting strategic relationships. A strategic relationship is any relationship that can help an organization or individual. This this could be a peer organization, external stakeholders, the organization's own employees, or other party. According to David Noor, strategic relationships are transformational or motivational, not just transactional. No, transformational is just like it says transformational. It transforms. Transactional is not just motivational. You create something you wouldn't be able to do by yourself. When beginning a strategic relationship, it's important to consider what you have to offer, as well as how your organization stands to benefit. The most successful strategic relationships tend to be based on collaboration and a vested interest in each other's success. Communication skills are essential in forming and leveraging strategic relationships. And I got to give it to those people. I have something to say. Let me see how much I got left. Wait, go back up. Oh my God, it's like these are blocking like a game of uh, checkers. Communication. Some people have it 100%. I will relate that to Donald Trump. He's a good negotiator. He has the communication. Some people have it 90%. You know, I can't relate that to anybody I know right now. Some people have it, like 90% would be the sergeant majors out here in the military. 80 staff sergeants, 70 sergeants, 60 supervisors at Burger King, 50, which is kind of low. Once you hit that 50 mark, I think you are, what is that word? You are an introvert. You can be an omnivert, but you're an introvert. Some people are extroverts, but I'm an omnivert. I used to be 50%. But one thing is true. If you don't practice, Trump had time to practice. His whole life he practiced and been around people. So he learned even when he didn't even know he was learning, or if he knew he was learning, people's personalities. I learned it, people's personalities a different way. But he learned people's personalities both ways, negative and positive. Me too, but he also got to be around a group of people and speak at meetings. I was at I forgot, a community division type place where I would always jam up. You know why I would jam up? Because I knew they didn't have the best interests at heart. And I didn't have a piece of paper to write down and get comfortable writing down stuff. That is the first thing the first step to a person breaking the ice with people is, some people can do it. For those who are not comfortable around, because that, once eyes are on you, spirits, some people say I can do it, and some people do it. Some people can speak off top of their head, but they still be nervous. I want you to watch that Kamala Harris event, Cardi B. She got very nervous. Now, I don't understand why when she's around a lot of people, but once you're up there on that stage around all those spirits, it is a science thing that once eyes are on you, you lock up, and it's another type thing when eyes are on you, how you lock up or don't lock up. But it's practice. And I'm gonna have a lot of it when I get to where I'm going. You know, at first we must start off with a plan, because when you're up there and 30 people are looking at you, you never spoke in front of people before, you seize up. And I've done that before, I'll admit. So when I'm talking to one person, it's okay. When I'm talking to two people, it's okay. When I'm talking to doctors, 5 or more, I'm okay because they're doctors, you know. But if I'm talking to 30 people, then, and another thing, someone told me that even though my count may be low, that's one person, one on the ticker that could be 30 people watching you or 10 people watching your show. So that's another pretty cool thing. And I have to thank some of the people from Santa Maria. You know, I have to let go. I didn't want to let go of certain people, but I had to let go. But certain people helped me. Certain people helped me. So communication is key. Communication is key. Definitely communicate as much as you can. When you're at 50%, that's like almost on E, where your light is coming on, saying you got 10 miles to empty or 5 miles to empty. And you have to make a choice. Are you going to go to the furthest gasoline station, or are you going to go to the closest gasoline station? Are you going to learn from your mistake and not let it hit that marker again? Maybe you should try to let it hit a different marker where it's not coming on to that ticker no more. Because it's not guaranteed that that much gas is in your tank. Oh, where is it at? Oh, let me put y'all back on. Um, what else? It was another thing I had up. I gotta finish reading. Here we go. So when you communicate properly, which I am going to build even more my communication skills, that's another thing I lack, is good communication skills. When you have good communication, I hate to bring drug addicts into this, but drug addicts have good communication skills because they communicate and they leverage which drugs that they want. I've never been a drug addict. Well, I never been a drug dealer. They leverage what kind of drugs they want to sell, and they form relationships with their counterparts, but somebody always end up snitching. So they don't have good communication skills. It start to turn into, I only talk to you because I need something from you. When it gets to that point, and that's in all communication, I've learned when not just drug addicts, or drug dealers, but when you start building and trying to leverage a strategic relationship and it only turns into I want to talk to you because I need something from you other than, you know, trying to address an issue and find out more about the issue, like 50-50. You know, what do you need from me and what do I need from you? A 50-50 relationship other than an all 100%, you know, you're leveraging something. You have to give to get, you know, and Trump proves that every day by leveraging what he has to leverage. And when he knows he don't have to leverage nothing, he don't leverage because he knows that some countries have been terrible with tariffs. He plays his cards well. So stakeholder management. What is stakeholder management? The core teams determines the most effective and efficient approach to keep key stakeholders informed about project goals and outcomes. In a corporate environment, additional considerations include the business value the product or product generates, key constraints and assumptions, the project schedule, the estimated budget, and key risks. The more the core team considers the needs, expectation, influence, and perceptions of external stakeholders, the better sense they have of potential for the identified goal, program, project, or decision to gain market momentum and success. Number one, in stakeholder groups, identify actual and potential stakeholders, whether individuals or organizations. Click on each step in the column to the left to read more about it. Okay, let's identify actual potential stakeholders, whether individual or organizations. Define outcomes, new products, process improvement, implementation of a new process, change in a system or strategy. Determine the needs or expectations of key stakeholders at the beginning of the project and how best engage them as the beginning, the project progress. SIS. A nonprofit core team also identifies goals and outcomes. Additional considerations will vary depending on the mission size of an organization, like the police organization versus undercover cops versus different organizations from the police. They have different organizations that the chief of police send out, you know, to like the drug organization. You know, I don't want to go into detail because then, you know, if I have criminals watching my show, they'll be like, oh, that's what they do. You know, so yeah, it I have to relate it to different government organizations because I haven't looked it up, but I kind of know because I used to look it up a lot and I hear on the news a lot. So I figured this is what they do and how they do it. So volunteers, expert grant writers, data analysis, logistics, IT is what they're talking about, developmental consultants, and others who will add significant value to the program or project at hand are important stakeholders. In a government organization, security may restrict the number of stakeholders who can be briefed completely on the project. So the chief will be able to know how many people they're sending out and why they're working on the project. Nobody else should know because they will, what is that word? They will pollute. That wasn't the word I wanted to use, but they will pollute the project, which means that they will turn the project raw, nasty. They will make the project not work, and someone will probably leak information, and then it will be not worth the cost of the project being even done. So restrict the number of stakeholders who can be briefed completely on the project, while stakeholders may be identified based on hierarchy, which is rank, or expertise, which is how much they know. The concept value added input from the multiple perspectives will serve an organization well. What stakeholder management plan? What is a stakeholder management plan? Once a core team has defined and categorized its stakeholders, it may create a stakeholder management plan. Depending on the size and complexity, a stakeholder management plan can vary or range from one-page form in a project management plan to a detailed planning and assessment strategy. This plan lists all key stakeholders, identifies the project's potential impact on them, and details how and when to communicate with them, track progress, and assess all outcomes. All conversations with key stakeholders should be documented in detail, including potential follow-up or one-on-one sessions as needed for clarity and validation. Let's go back up to external. Okay, just in case I need to read that again. So now let's pull everything together and see what I need to write. I've been working on this for 2 hours now. It looks like a Ouija, not a Ouija board, that's way offline, but some type of weirdness. Now, where's that other thing? Darn it. I didn't mean to click you. If I need to click it, I'll click it. I'll find it. Okay. Let me drink something, y'all. Describe one or two strategies you might employ in order to identify stakeholder groups and their needs. One or two strategies you might employ in order to identify stakeholder groups and their needs. First, I'm going to dissect the whole thing very carefully. I got to go back to that question just like I said. Where is that other one? Whoopsie poopsie. There it is. Here we go. I am not trying to have you out. Thank you for the likes, you know. I'm trying to, oh my God. Okay, don't worry about it. Y'all can still see. Okay, these are very competent questions. They did not make it easy. As a basis of decision making, problem solving, and organizational action, a transforming leader must think strategically and consider the external environment and its varying factors. Let me quietly read that over. Describe one or two strategies you might employ in order to identify stakeholder groups and their needs. I'm going to talk about I just said it in what I was saying. Describe one or two strategies you might employ. Strategies you might create in order to identify external stakeholders and internal stakeholders and their needs. We're going to talk about internal stakeholder needs. Come on. And external stakeholder needs, but in my words. Let's read it again. Okay. Oh, I gotta put the charger back up. Let me see if I can write it without really looking at it. I'm gonna read it again and then I'm gonna write in my own words about it. Little breeze outside. transformational, transactional. Hold up. Transformational, transactional. Transactional is when it's basically all over the nation when transactional do. You give me something, you work hard, I'll give you a paycheck. If you don't give me a if you don't work hard, I'll sit up there and reprimand you and possibly fire you. That's transactional. That's what most people get. But transformational is motivational. I got confused with the word they said earlier, but whatever. Other needs are identifying goals when external stakeholders identify goals. Period. Short sentences. When external stakeholders identify their goals, they can make better group. No, that they don't make group decisions. Hold on. Is this external or internal? Hold on. Internal. Don't say external. Internal. Identify their goals. They can make better choices for the next challenges at a job, in a job, being in a organization. There are, oh, not that way. There are always challenges. I know that's spelled wrong. Now, the one person that identify the goal and make new goals can situate the situation into a more positive creation at work. They can make a selection or multiple selections and they can make multiple selections and of possible goals, both hard and easy. Then they will complete one at a time, whether challenging or not. If it is for the workplace, they will get back to their manager and tell them what they thought they did to the advance the job, the workplace issues. Okay, that should be good enough. Stakeholder needs people from stakeholder needs comma as stakeholders need people from an organization that will make sure they not only interact, comma, but engage and identify goals. Now, interaction is simple. Communication is the key to making sure you have a strong interaction with someone. If someone has a weak communication skill and is talking to someone with a high communication skill, then this can throw off the dialogue. Other needs are identifying goals. When internal stakeholders identify their goals, they can make better choices for the next challenges. Being in an organization, there are always challenges. What the hell? Sorry, y'all. Being in an organization, there are always challenges. Now, one person that identify the goal and make new goals and situate the situation into more positive creation at work to situate the 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 work issues that makes no sense into a more positive creation at work. They can make a selection or multiples. They can select or make multiple selections of possible goals, both hard and easy. Then they will complete them one at a time, whether challenging or not. If it is for the workplace, they will get back to the manager and tell them what they did to advance the workplace issues. Advancing the workplace problems are the identifying goals, but it can be anything the manager put a skeleton towards. Five more. Oh, goody, more long stuff. The success of an organization is dependent upon leadership's ability to calculate how the plans and action of an organization will affect stakeholders, which means organization is dependent, which means it needs upon, because independent means it doesn't need, but dependent means is it needs upon leadership's ability to calculate how the plans and actions of an organization will affect stakeholders. So stakeholders, it needs stakeholders. Describe one or two strategies for achieving this in short and long term. Ah, my water. It's cold. Just woke me up. It was meant for it to happen. The success of an organization Okay. Calculate how the plans and actions of the organization will affect stakeholders. The success of an organization is dependent upon leadership's ability to calculate how the plans and actions of an organization will affect stakeholders. What I take from that is the organization needs the organization is needing help with leadership calculating how plans and actions of an organization will affect stakeholders. Will affect stakeholders. Organization is dependent. Organization is dependent. In need. I'll just put in need. The organization is in need upon leaderships upon leaderships. Ability to calculate how the plans and actions of an organization will affect stakeholders. The success of an organization is dependent. It needs for leadership's ability to calculate how the plans and action of the organization will affect stakeholders. I'm sorry, you guys. I told you this was going to be difficult. I kind of know what I understand what it's saying. Basically, the success of the organization is in need upon leadership ability to calculate how the plans and action of the organization will affect stakeholders. It's coming to me. Ability to calculate how plans and actions of the organization. So you got the plans, which is they put in plans together, actions, they take in action for it, of the organization will affect the stakeholders, which means the stakeholders, they will be key stakeholders, which means that's what they do. They make the decisions. Okay, that's what I'm all right. Let me make sure. one or two strategies for achieving this in the short or long term. Because internal, external, key, they all help, and some of them are in groups like which is corporation. Internal are group, could be in a group, and internal, including anyone in an organization, is like one person. External is outside, that's connected to other people. It's coming to me. Let's go with internal again. We're going to make an example by saying informational technology and human resource. And let's drag this down. Yeah, that's the perfect example. Human resources and operations, that I know. Human resources, short-term goals with internal stakeholders would be human resources that would be like maybe it would be hiring somebody. No, I don't know. A short-term goal for human resource. Let's think about that for a second. It would be hiring process. It would be a hiring process. Looking through the resumes. Plans and actions of the organization will affect stakeholders. Success of the organization is dependent upon leadership's ability to calculate how the plans and actions of the organization will affect stakeholders. How will human resources affect stakeholders? Human resources could affect stakeholders by, let's see what loophole, what loophole. I didn't mean to do that. Would be to, let's see, human resources short-term goals would be to talk with hire people ethically, and what else? Interview people. Put interview people. Interview people. The human resources would also take complaints Now we go to how would it affect stakeholders. This resource, this natural rotation of things that happen without any recommendation or this rotation of things, that's things that happen without any recommendation or idea or implants of ideas from stakeholders can cause stakeholders to become dependent in this arena. Now, long term, what would be long term for affecting a long term thing? Operations. I was going to choose no marketing. No, because marketing, that would be perfect for stakeholders because they would be able to influence, engage, and interact with our identified goal, program, project, decision. So technology is more of an independent thing, definitely independent with AI. A long-term goal is technology, not technology. I hate when I misspell. Technology, period. With AI helping the CEO find algorithms and newer ways to compute areas of improvement. This long-term persistent thing would not need the help of a stakeholder, thus being in thus the stakeholder being dependent again. There are supposed to be supercomputers coming out if they have not already, and we are in Web 3 and a half, possibly Web 4. That's that is as independent right now as you can get. Human resources short-term goals will be to interview the people. The human resources will also take complaints. Okay, so that's true. This natural rotation of things that happen without any recommendations or implantations. Is implantation a word? We will find out. Implantations. I guess the S should be needed. Of ideas from stakeholder. That is capital S, or S, can cause a stakeholder to become dependent in this arena. A long-term goal is technology. With AI helping the CEOs, find algorithms and newer ways to compute areas of improvement, comma. This long-term persistent thing would not need the help of a stakeholder. Thus, the stakeholder being dependent again. There are supposed to be supercomputers coming out if they have not already, comma. And we are in Web 3 and a half, possibly Web 4. That is as independent as you can get for right now. Let me put for right now. What do you take into consideration when identifying the best method to solve a problem? It's right on my mind. Critical thinking. Oh, why did I have to do that? Critical thinking and comparison of things that are similar to my life. Critical thinking, comma. Let me fix it while I go along. In comparison of things that is plural that are similar to my life. I love to learn now. I ignored school and thought of it as a virus and never got why school was important. I was on the wrong frequency. Now that I am getting a double master's, I love it and enjoy the curriculum and the questions that make you think hard. Solving a problem should not take 2 seconds. It should involve dissecting the question and trying to relate it to everyday life, even when it cannot be related. Let me read this before it be like one off of a word. Critical thinking and comparison of things that are like my life. Critical thinking and comparison things are like that. That doesn't make sense. Critical thinking and comparison of things are related to my life. I love to learn now. I ignored school and thought of it as a virus and never got why school was important. I was on the wrong frequency. Now that I'm getting a double master's, I love it and enjoy the curriculum And the questions. Hello, topic man. Don Darrow. That make you think hard. Solving a problem should not take 2 seconds. It should involve dissecting the question, trying to relate it to everyday life, even when it cannot be related. What has been a difficult decision for you to make in your career and why? I gotta tell about my military career. Maybe, let me see. I had a crappy job career. I mean, my job career was okay. I give it a C plus. It wasn't like grand like others saying. I sat up there and worked for the CIA for 10 years, and then I went on ahead to NSA with IT, stuff like that. Fine. But mine is a crappy life. What would it be? I have to choose the military. Difficult decision. Even with my military career, I had integrity, but I also was a drug addict. I made the wrong choices and had a crappy chain of command. When the new chain of command came in, it hurt me when I had to go. Postpartum depression, anxiety, mental health starting to rise due to the habitual start of a 5 to 8 year drug cycle would have me going from recruiter station to recruiter station, trying to get back in. When I became, when my brain became more mature, when I finally got off the hard core drugs, my brain began to heal. It was very difficult to leave. the military. I I have made the, I'm sorry, you guys. Hold on for a second. I made the Army Review Board partially proud of me due to going to school and getting my master's and going for a double last master's. That was and is the end of my chapter with the military. I worked hard for my honorable, and they saw I made mistakes and had no real interventions. Even with my military career, I had integrity, but I was also a drug addict. I made the wrong choice, and I don't even want to read this, but I have to. I made the wrong choice and had a crappy chain of command. When the new chain of command came in, comma, it hurt me when I had to go. Postpartum depression, anxiety, mental health starting to rise to the habitual start of a 5 to 8 year drug cycle would have me going from recruiter station to recruiter station, trying to get back in. When my brain became more mature, when I finally got off, that's 2 F's. The hardcore drugs, my brain began to heal. It was very difficult for me to leave the military. I have made the Army Review Board partially proud of me due to going to school and getting my master's and going for a double master's. That was and is the end of my chapter with the military. I worked hard for my honorable, and they saw I made mistakes and had no real interventions from my crappy chain of command. I made sure that I got an honorable discharge. Okay, moving on. Hold on. I gotta fix some things. Hold on. That's not how it should be. I shouldn't even put it like that. A double. Just put double masters. That means a second masters. What practical experience do you have leading and managing a project or a presentation? In Mountain Top, PA, I directed my employee with one of my 7 contracts. What kind of clinic was it? It was a dental, no, a children's clinic. It was was it a children's dental? It doesn't matter. Children's clinic. And she was to take out the, let's just say pop out the trash. Pop out the old trash, put in new trash bags, comma. What else was she to do? Disinfect all equipment and mop the floors. I did not want anything to go wrong or her to forget anything and I get yelled at by the master franchise. So at 3 in the morning, me and my former husband used to drive by there, and all contracts and do and required inspection. Hold on, y'all. To drive by there and all other. I knew I was going to mess up somewhere. I think what I was going to write down, and I don't write it down or type it down. Now, what is the question? What practical experience do I have? I have experience in managing a crew of 3 people at maybe a couple, 4 people for a couple of months. I had genuinely Michelle wigs where I was on, what news company was on? PA Live, and showed off my wigs. I eventually lost my company. What else? Blue Cloud Cleaning, generally show wigs, PA2. And then I had Blue Cloud Cleaning again. Then I managed Blue Cloud Cleaning again, where I can't believe I can't find those newspapers and clippings of me. I knew they would get destroyed. I was in the local newspapers and would go from house to house cleaning myself. What else? What else? What else? What else? A project. A project that I have done. I have also been a counselor where we had 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 have we had have we have had, I knew that was backwards. We have had groups we have had talks about the clients there and made our cases. How do you continue to develop myself in this role? A lot of things. I'm not gonna write too much. Not gonna write too much. Cause I don't want to say too much. I'm just gonna put nothing else follows when it start getting into my business. I continue to develop myself by writing down what? Then now things you got writer's block. Writing down ways to grow. Example, I will write down short-term plans and execute. I will keep long-term plans in my head due to circumstances. Eventually, I would like to be back on a news company, on a reputable news company, explaining what has happened to me, my full story. What else? I know communication, like I've been stating on my show, is necessary, period. I know there are some tough audiences. Oh my God, I've been working on this since 10, period. I know that I have to make sure, for instance, I have a smooth plan, but cannot state the full plan. Sometimes it just pops in my head. So I keep it there. I may tell little, let me not be ghetto and say little, little bits and pieces, but the full scripted plan is yet to come. I will continue to make great plans for short and long term. Where is it at? I will practice, practice, practice. I could have been at Golden Corral, but then I would have missed the opportunity to do my homework. And I would never miss that opportunity. I continue to develop myself by writing down ways to grow. Example, if I write down short-term plans, I execute them. Wow. And execute. I should write down short-term plans, I execute. And wow. And I full sentences count. Full sentences down. I will keep long-term plans in my head due to circumstances. Eventually, I would like to get back to on a reputable news company, explaining what has happened to me, my full story. Also, I plan on getting my name on the roster for president. I know communication, like I've been stating on my communication is vital, like I've been stating on my show. It is necessary. I know there are some tough audiences. I know I must make sure, for instance, comma, I have a smooth plan but cannot state the full plan. Sometimes it just pops into my head so I keep it there. I may tell little bits and pieces, but the full scripted plan is yet to come. I will continue to make a great plan for short and long term. I will practice, 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 comma, comma, comma. Not by the E, woman. No references. Ooh, I was about to mess up. God. Okay, let's save this baby before something weird happens. Oh, before we save it, hold on. I forgot what it's called. Let me. Okay. No, we don't need you. Let's go up to here. I try to get it out the way so that I don't need to deal with it. And I'm gonna do the mock interview next Tuesday. I hope he don't want us to do it both back to back, because he said something about let me just do this. And then look, may have read it wrong. Written. Oh, it doesn't go like that. Cloud. Okay. Written. Response to not exclamation point. There we go. Boom. Now it's saved. Now I can close it. It's called written response to question set 1. It's not dumb sounding. I should have put project 3. That was dumb. Should be categorizing them. And it's due on Tuesday. Done. This was due on Tuesday anyway. Hold up. So the mock interview should be done for next week. And then, yeah, right on time. We got 3 more things to do. But I'm going to get them all done early. So I have weeks off. I know it's going to get harder and harder. Oh my God. I did not know I spent that much time on here. I'm surprised Twitter didn't take me off. Yep, I got that receipt from UMGC, boy. Yes. Okay, so I have finished with my homework. I'm going to take a break. I guess I'll eat some yogurt or something. Darn it, man. I don't know. So, I hope everybody oh yeah, I'm so sorry, y'all. I hope y'all having a happy Memorial Day, and thank you guys for spending it with me. Thank you guys. I'm serious. Um, I'm ecstatic right now. Seriously. But I have to go, man. I've been on here 4 hours. 4 hours. It's about to be 3 o'clock over here. Just the cycle continues. Yeah. So take care, you guys. Be safe. And I will see y'all guys next time. Bye.
Never waste my time, you are out.